Do you love haunted houses? I'm not talking about the fake attractions that pop up every October. I'm talking about the real life scary stuff. Witches, spirits, demons, ghouls.
Ghouls. The undead.
All that jazz. If you do, then I want to show you some of the top real life haunted houses. Hi, I'm George Poporad with eXp Realty, and real estate can be scary, but not like this. In the early 1800s in Adams, Tennessee, a woman named Kate Baths believed that her neighbor John Bell cheated her out of some land. And so lying on her deathbed, she swore that she would haunt him forever. Sometime later, the Bell family started to experience some strange things on the farm, including hearing chains being dragged across the floor, noises in the walls, physical attacks, including scratches. Elizabeth Bell, the daughter of John Bell, received the worst of the abuse. She was reportedly hit and pinched until her body was covered in bruises. They also reportedly saw odd-looking animals on the farm, including a dog with a rabbit's head. After the death of John Bell in 1820, things reportedly quieted down. But to this day, people still claim to hear sounds, see candlelights, and photograph orbs and other ghostly apparitions near the property. One of the spookiest homes in the French Quarter, the LaLaure Mansion, was home to Dr. Louis and Delphine LaLaure, a socially prominent family in the 1830s. Delphine LaLaure was a real-life socialite, but she was also apparently a serial killer who created a torture chamber for slaves at the Royal Street Mansion. A fire in 1834 uncovered her dark secret after first responders discovered a number of slaves being horrifically tortured, starved, and beaten. LaLaure's victims are said to haunt the property to this day. From the street, pedestrians have heard shouts, moans, and weeping, while some have even seen ghostly faces in the upstairs windows. The house's grisly history hasn't stopped wealthy buyers from purchasing it. Before losing the home to foreclosure in 2009, actor Nicolas Cage owned the property, and today a wealthy oil tycoon is said to hold the deed. Opened in 1886 by cattle baron Jesse Driskill, the Driskill Hotel has a well-known history of paranormal activity following the deaths of several guests, including the Suicide Brides, who were two honeymooning women who took their own lives in the same room in the same bathtub 20 years apart. Guests claim to have seen visions of the women carrying suitcases and disappearing through the door of room 525, where the suicides took place. Another story is of a young girl who died in 1887 after chasing her ball and accidentally falling down the grand staircase. Guests claim you can still hear the sound of giggling and the ball bouncing down the stairs. Others claim that Jesse Driskill himself has been known to check in on his hotel from time to time. Reports of cigar smell and fussy lights continue to baffle the Driskill Hotel staff, and some believe these incidents point straight to Jesse Driskill himself, who died 4 years after the hotel had opened. This brick mansion in Salem, Massachusetts was built in 1784 for prominent merchant Joshua Ward. It is also the exact site where Sheriff George Corwin, a major figure in the Salem witch trials, lived, died, and was buried in 1697. Sheriff Corwin would often interrogate the accused, with his heinous techniques earning him the nickname the Strangler. Officially, there were 19 men and women who were executed for witchcraft under Sheriff Corwin's watch. To this day, Corwin is said to still creep around the grounds, with some visitors claiming to have been choked by him. And apparently, Corwin isn't alone. One of his victims was famously captured in all her disheveled glory by a realtor taking photos of the property. Creepy, right? With a name like the Villisca Axe Murder House, you know it's gotta be legit. On June 12, 1912, in Villisca, Iowa, a prominent businessman, Josiah Moore, his family, and two young house guests were found bludgeoned to death by an axe in their home. There were many suspects, including a state senator, but none of them were found guilty of the crime. Over the years, a number of paranormal investigations have uncovered disembodied voices, moving objects, children's crying voices, and a door that mysteriously opens and closes. Today, the house is open for daytime tours and overnight sleepovers, if you dare. The Lemp Mansion in St. Louis, Missouri is said to be one of the most haunted places in America. In 1904, beer baron William Lemp Sr. died by suicide in his family's mansion when he shot himself in the head. It was said that he was distraught after losing his son Frederick to illness a few years earlier. William Lemp Jr. shot himself in the home in 1922 after Prohibition killed what was left of a once thriving company. And finally, Charles Lemp died by suicide one room over in 1949 after also shooting his dog. Today, visitors can dine at the mansion, including mystery dinner events, stay overnight, or take a ghost tour to decide for themselves if the Lemp family still reside in the home. On August 4th, 1892, in Fall River, Massachusetts, Andrew Borden and his wife Abby were brutally hacked to death inside their home with a hatchet. The younger of Andrew's two adult daughters, 32-year-old Lizzie, was the main suspect, but she was eventually acquitted by an all-male jury after news coverage doubted that such an upper-class lady was capable of committing such a heinous crime. After the trial, Lizzie lived for decades under the specter of suspicion, and the still unsolved case has intrigued historians and true crime enthusiasts ever since. Guests of the museum and B&B have said they have encountered both of Lizzie's ex-parents stalking the grounds, as well as a maid screaming for help. Whether it's gruesome murders, tragic misfortune, or simply a previous resident not quite ready to move on, all haunted houses have a story to tell. So, what do you think?